But he's a four-team special team player.
And an offensive weapon, it turns out.
Oh, yeah.
Shovel pass to Taysom Hill.
Read it.
And look at the blocking.
Put the ball in his hands. I mean, he's a big, strong kid. Brings a lot of tackles.
Yeah, out of BYU, man. Had an injury-plagued career, found a way to get to New Orleans, and has been great ever since.
Saints had the 7-0 lead. Then take a look at Taysom Hill. They will run this Wildcat with him.
Yeah.
And look at this. You think he's got wheels?
Oh, no. They say he may be the fastest guy on the team down there.
He went over 20 miles per hour. You get into the 20s. That's some
He
speed.
made next-gen stats.
That's all you need to say. He made next-gen stats. Well said. Saints have a 17-6 lead, looking to try and blow it open. Meanwhile, Matt Ryan, second half, he had some troubles here. Ryan, look out. And
come on.
Stiff arm of the year.
You don't got to push him in the back.
That's a filthy, violent stiff arm right there, man.
Oh,
Shy.
He showed skills, though. Watch him put that ball in his lap. Oh, man.
That is.
Get off me.
I should have warned you to look away if you were queasy or had a belly full
MJ,
of
remember what
stuffing.
that feeling's like? When you just give him that.
When you drop some
the highs one like that.
oh my goodness.
Stuff. But Falcons get the football back.
Oh, no.
And it's another turnover.
Yeah. He's trying to get somewhere, though.
It's not a good fourth quarter.
Yeah, no, not at all.
At least
picked off. Matt Ryan. Younghoe Koo, meanwhile, the kicker, who was brought in kind of mid-season, he came through with some onside kicks that were. How did the Falcons? There had only been 2 successful onside kicks in the NFL coming into today. They get that one, but they were offsides. That's a re-kick. They get it again.
Yeah. They got a good bounce. You got a good bounce right there.
Well, Alvin Kamara misplayed it as well. Kamara misplayed that one.
You got to attack those, but you also have to block the guy that's attacking you as well.
You're down 2 possessions. You need a field goal, a touchdown, and a 2-point conversion of some combination. So you take your field goal.
Get the field goal.
You're on the minus side of the 2-minute warning. Got all 3 timeouts. Onside kick again? No way.
Yeah.
No
Michael
way.
Thomas do?
No way.
Michael Thomas jumped out of the way.
That dude was coming full speed.
Look, Thomas has some of the best hands in the NFL. They got to take him off the hands team. He's misplayed a couple of onside kicks this year. I'm just calling it like it is.
Honestly, you can't practice this play.
First of all, that's not his fault.
Not live, you can't.
I'm going to tell you, that's 24's fault. 24 went to the ball instead of going and blocking 54. If you go and block 54, I can catch it.
All of a sudden, a touchdown and a 2-point conversion ties this game, but on fourth down, Cam Jordan got other ideas.
He loves the big spotlight, Cam Jordan.
That's a rookie blocking him, too, so he's going to take it full advantage. He went to Washington. Cam Jordan went to Cal. It's a little bit of a rivalry.
Look, the Saints were laughing in this one, and then they had to kind of inhale and exhale at around the 2-minute warning of the fourth quarter.
Division games.
It's a good point. Fair point. And Falcons housed them in the Superdome
3 weeks ago.
Just a few weeks ago there. But the New Orleans Saints win the game. They win their 10th game of the year. The New Orleans Saints are the NFC South champions. There will be a home playoff game in the Superdome in January. 26-18, the final. What do we think of this game?
Well, this is the thing. Anytime you have to go into someone else's house and win the division, it's always going to be tough, regardless of how it goes. Something always happens in those situations. But kudos to the Saints for finding a way to pull out a victory when Atlanta has been playing pretty well the last couple of weeks. I know they stumbled against the Buccaneers, but they had been, kind of getting better.
The game against the Panthers, the game against the Falcons, or the game against the Saints. The Falcons look sensational.
Yeah, and so you have to go in there a team that kind of whipped you at home to go in and get a victory. And the way you do that different ways. One, your defense has to come in and show up and do what the Saints defense is. But you have to make plays on special teams. And we saw that. Now, granted, at the end, you didn't make the necessary plays to kind of close this game out. But the way this defense flew around, the way Cameron Jordan, this defensive line, got after Matt Ryan, I mean, that's what you have to do. You have to affect the passer in different ways, and you have to hit him early and often. And they did that. They found a way to get him a little route. And then, you get a little icing on the cake here with the little big man.
Almost
the big man pick, right? Yeah, I'm not mad at that at all.
Heck no, I want to see the stiff arm again, actually.
That defensive line of the New Orleans Saints, I think it's like Shy Tuttle right there.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at, whether it's Sheldon Rankins or Cam Jordan or Marcus Davenport, they've got depth. They have been making plays all year. When Teddy Bridgewater came in and he took over the team, they won 5 in a row, that defensive line, they went up to Seattle, they won. I mean, they've really helped them win a lot of these games. They're very underrated. People just look at sack numbers. This is a very good team. They took Zeke Elliott out when they beat the Cowboys and kept him out of the end zone. I mean, they've been a dominant group all year.
Give me a quick word on the Atlanta Falcons. They were mathematically eliminated from the playoffs with this loss. And they had no Julio Jones in this game. They did not have Austin Hooper, the tight end, who was hoping to come back this week. But Dan Quinn, is he still the guy there?
I mean, it's hard to kind of say. You had offensive line issues this whole season.
Yeah.
You're trying to start rookies. Your two first-round picks don't show up. Defensively, you're dealing with, not having your two starting safeties. Your starting linebackers have been out. I mean, they've dealt with a ton of adversity, and yet he found a way to keep them going. Now, yes, he's a hot seat. I think Arthur Blank is going to, the owner of the Falcons, is going to have to make a tough decision.
Yeah, he has said he will assess, at the end of the year.
Yeah, and I know injuries is part of it, but it's tough to expect anything when your starting offensive line hasn't played together yet.
I think Arthur really respects and likes Dan Quinn.
And most of the NFL has a lot of respect for Dan Quinn.
And so he's got a tough decision to make. But, I mean, the team, look, despite no Julio Jones, I mean, that is their star player.
Right.
He's not out there. Austin Hooper was having a breakout season. He's not out there. Your number one pick at right guard has missed the season.
Yeah.
All these things have happened, but they still competed. And that's what you're looking for. They're still competing. And so why were they 1-7 and then go to New Orleans and play like that and beat Carolina like the way they did? Like, what happened that first half of the season where they were breaking down in the back end? They were giving up these big plays, and then it kind of just stopped. So, I think those are just big decisions that won't be talked about or made until the season finishes.
But to the victor go the spoils. The New Orleans Saints clinch the first playoff spot of 2019 and doing it on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I mean, now they're playing with a little bit of house money right here to be able to see.
Yeah, but you want to stay sharp.
That. Oh, yeah. They want that bye.
You want to buy.
And they would love to get home field advantage once again in the NFC playoffs.
Yeah, there's a lot to play for. That's really where Sean Payton, that's where his coaching prowess is going to come in right now, because you can't relax in any of this right now.
Great point. All right, we're awaiting Drew Brees to go to the podium in Atlanta. We'll get you there when we can for live coverage. Meanwhile, the latest headlines presented by Lexus. The Patriots listed Tom Brady as limited in practice today. Yesterday, he was full go, but the 42-year-old quarterback has been dealing with an elbow injury. Tom says that he's gotten extra treatment this week. He expects to suit up Sunday night against the Texans. Book it, ladies and gentlemen. He hasn't missed a game due to injury in over a decade. Patriots do have another concern, though. It's at kicker. Nick Folk had to have an emergency appendectomy. He is out for Sunday. So New England is reportedly going with Kai Forbath as their kicker into Houston. Forbath is going to be the Patriots' fourth option at kicker this season. T.Y. Hilton is going to be out on Sunday. The Colts wide receiver, it has. He's been dealing with that calf injury. He came back, tried to play with it last week, but he suffered a setback this week. He will not go Sunday against the Tennessee Titans. Well, there is the podium that we expect Sean Payton to step to. We expect Drew Brees to be making some postgame. A little bit of champagne with the turkey for the New Orleans Saints after clinching the division. Why can't we get
champagne with the turkey we had today?
Maybe. It's coming up on midnight. NFL Total Access touches on the game in Atlanta and the NFC South Championship. Went a little wildcat with Taysom Hill cruising past the Atlanta defense. He had 2 touchdowns on the day, did Taysom Hill. And then the defense had to close it out. Matt Ryan and the Falcons had a chance. They need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion late in the game, but fourth down, Cam Jordan. Yep. Leader on defense and for the team, I would say, as well. 26-18 the final. New Orleans 10-2 and the division champs.
Obviously, shoot a whirlwind of a game. I was proud of how we finished. We've made it a little bit more difficult than it should have been, and yet our guys battled and hung in there. Defensively, I thought we played outstanding, and we've got to clean up that end of game situation that's twice now been a pain, and we've got to do a better job coaching it, and I'll get that corrected, and then we got to do a better job executing and recovering a simple onside kick. Any questions?
Sean, the job the defensive line did. You got 9.
A good rotation going. That's one of the reasons. Look, we've been dressing 8, and Ryan's done a great job of just keeping fresh players in, because obviously at some point it became a one-dimensional game, and it's hard to muster up that energy without a decent rotation.
Is Cam playing better now than you've ever seen?
I'm not sure. Look, he's playing awfully well, but we'll look at the tape. I mean, he's been playing real well here for a while.
Sean, significance of winning the division.
Yeah, I mean, look, it doesn't happen much before Thanksgiving. You know, this is, what, our sixth now, third in a row. It's one of the goals. And, you know, for it to happen on Thanksgiving, you know, this early, it's the first step. And, you know, it's hard to win in this league. It's hard to win on the road in this league. And I'm proud of our guys, proud of Mrs. B, ownership. And, you know, a lot of work goes into putting the right team together. And, you know, it's a challenging business. And, you know, it's all worth it when you win and you have a chance and you're playing for something. You know, it's very difficult if you're not winning. So, it's good.
You all were kind of scrambling there in the second half, right? Get some guys go down.
Yeah, we've had a few nicks. You know, we had a couple guys with cramps, you know, dehydrated. Marshawn missed, you know, the better part of a quarter almost. Chauncey missed some time. You know, at Traquan, we had a few guys. It's not unusual. Fortunately, we were able to fill in and, you know, keep playing, keep battling.
Well, you know what? You win on Thanksgiving. You win the division on Thanksgiving. You get around Michelle Tafoya and the excellent job that our friends over at NBC did tonight on the game. And you share some turkey legs, gentlemen.
Is there enough for all those guys?
Well, you better, blow out the budget when you win the division championship.
You got to get each hand. I know that.
And give pumpkin pie while we're at it. Congratulations to the New Orleans Saints.
Baldy.
We will hear from Drew Brees on this 90-minute edition of NFL Total Access coming up in just a bit. Meanwhile, the first game of our Thanksgiving Day triple header, the Bears mounted a late